Hello! This is day 2 of attempting to film this, but the sun is actually out, so hopefully I have some better lighting. I will try to stay out of that direct sunlight. I'm filming in my loft because this is the best lighting that I have right now, so it's like kind of boring up here right now. It is my cat's bedroom. So, hi. Did I say already that we're doing everything I made in 2025? Because that's what we're here for. So, got 16 projects to show you. I did make 17 last year, but lost one of them. I just moved something I'm blocking, whoops. I did move halfway through the year, so I think I lost it during that, but really hoping I can find it. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So that project that I just mentioned that I lost is actually the first thing that I finished. It was just a little scarf, little mini skinny scarf made with Cascade alpaca lace and Yarnalia Joy, which is also an alpaca lace. One was a blue, one was a red. Very cute picture, if I haven't already put it up, of what that looks like. I really hope I can find it because it's really cute and very soft. And yeah, so that's the first thing I made that I don't have with me anymore. The next thing that I made is my one and only sweater of the year. It is the first thing I've ever self-drafted, the first time I've done cables, and it is this sweater. This is with Barocco Lana's Light. I bought the yarn for a different project and then didn't realize that the yarn was fingering weight for some reason when I bought it, and also the color wasn't quite what I was going for with that particular project, so I just cast it on a sweater. Originally it was a round yoke. By the time I got halfway through, I was like, no, it would look better as a boat neck, but did not want to rip back all that progress, so I just said whatever, and then I sewed down that neckline to give it more of a boat neck shape, which you can't really tell when I have it on. The sleeves are knit straight, so no increases or decreases. And then it comes to a point at the bottom, which kind of gives it this really cute like princess seam effect. Yeah, so this is the first and only sweater I made this year, which I'm very happy with it, and I have been wearing it quite a lot since it's gotten cold again. We are gonna go like somewhat chronological. My pile is kind of out of order, so I'm gonna try to be as in order as possible, but yeah. The next thing that I made is following a pattern. It is the Tied and True cardigan by Starcross Knits. I used Drops Kid Silk for this. This one was a bit of a flop, to be honest. I knit the sleeves too short. My fridge just started running, so I'm so sorry if that is loud and annoying for the rest of the video, but this is what we have to deal with. So I knit the arms too short for this, and the ruffles on the cuffs are not quite ruffly enough. I would go back and lengthen the sleeves, except that it's an I-cord bind off, and I don't want to undo that in mohair. It's also a lot more feminine of a piece than I would normally wear at this point in my life. So I think this spring I'm gonna see if I ever like pull it out and wear it for like a forced fairy kind of vibe, but if not, I might just end up donating it to someone with a bit shorter arms. But yeah. The next thing I finished is my first pair of socks. It is this 4x4 rib. All the socks that I show you today, by the way, I just cleaned them all, but they are all kind of pilly, and there is probably dog and cat fur in them. The hazards of wearing hand knit socks in a household with pets. But my first pair of socks, 4x4 rib all over. I did a German short row heel, and these are cuffed down. And the yarn is Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light. And then I ran out of yarn on the second sock, so I did a contrast toe, and this is Scout by I should know this. Kelbourne Woolens. Scout by Kelbourne Woolens is the purple. And that was just some leftover stash yarn I had from a sweater project the year before. First pair of socks, love these, wear these all the time. Next thing I made, this was probably about March-ish that I cast this one on. I probably could have made another sweater before it got warm enough for summer clothes, having my arms out and such, but I did cast this on. I thought it would take me a lot longer than it did. I think this was about a month and a half long project, which I really expected it to take me like 3 months. I don't know why. But anyways, the feature of this is this smock stitch, which I saw on Pinterest a while ago. I was like, I need to figure out something to make with this. And so I spent like about a year dreaming up what I wanted to do with it, and finally cast it on and made this top. I did have to frog it several times because my gauge swatch was not gauge swatching for some reason. So I did have to keep recasting on and making it smaller and smaller each time. I did do some waist shaping, which I am so happy with how seamlessly that blended in to the texture pattern. And then the bust is just stockinette. And I did a crochet scallop border around the neckline and the back, and it is a low back. And then just single crochets around the armholes. And this is super cute. When I finished it, it was kind of loose, and then the more I wore it, it's bamboo pop, so it's a cotton bamboo blend. The more I wore it, it kind of stretched out, and yeah, it just became looser and looser and then didn't quite fit. And so I couldn't really wear it. I was only hand washing it. Last week though, I was brave enough. I put it in the washing machine on high heat in a garment bag so that it wouldn't like get caught on any buttons or anything else. And then dried it on high heat as well, and it shrunk down and it fits perfectly now, which I am so happy about. But yeah, this is I think I named this one the Summer Meadow top. So cute, and so happy that it fits again so I can wear it when it gets warm enough. Next thing is another pair of socks. Really was on a sock kick this year. This is just a, let's see, you can see better on this one. It was just a lace stitch motif that I found on Pinterest, and I thought that was so cute. I wanted to incorporate it into a pair of like cutesy cottagecore socks, and this is what came out. There is a few rows of stockinette at the top for just the tiniest bit of a rolled hem, which I think I've done with all my socks so far. Maybe not that first pair. And then once again, cuff down, German short row heel. Getting the texture or the like lace motif to line up before and after the heel was kind of difficult, but I'm very happy I was able to figure that out. I do think I'm going to make another pair of these in cotton for this summer, but even with them being wool, the like open lace motif made them very breathable, and I did wear these a lot this summer. This, if I haven't mentioned the yarn yet, is again Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light, which I really love for socks. Okay, next is another self-drafted top. This is my Stellar vest. I made up the colorwork chart for the Stellar J's, and I know that it's Stellar's J, but I, like many people, don't think that animals or anything should be named after the person that discovered them, let alone a man. So it is a stellar jay, a phenomenal bird. So that is how they turned out. And then this flower on the back, also made the chart up for that. It is a mix of intarsia and stranded colorwork, just to carry the white across. This was my first time doing any sort of intarsia, and yeah, very happy with how it turned out. This was with Cascade Noble Cotton for all the colors except for the green and the flower, which was just another 100% cotton. Oh, you know, it's right here. Benefits of doing it where my stash is. It's this Rico Rumi, just mini skein of 100% cotton for that green. And then the buttons are vintage buttons from a friend, and I made them all kind of, if they will show off, made them all kind of mismatching and eclectic. Like if I was a blue jay or a crow or some sort of corvid collecting glittery things that caught my eye, my collection wouldn't be all the same. It would be kind of eclectic all over the place, which I think that really came through with the buttons. My cat just came upstairs, so if you see me looking over here, she's over here. Want to say hi, baby? This is Juniper. So one thing I didn't know about knitting with 100% cotton, this is the first thing I have knit with 100% cotton, is that when you block it, it shrinks upwards. So that did happen with this, and so it's just a little bit more cropped than I would hope for, just like sits above my belly button, which I don't chew that. No chewing that. Which not my favorite anymore. Not really a style I've worn since like the late 2010s, but I have been hanging it on a hanger, kind of just like hoping gravity will do its thing and lengthen it a bit, but still super cute. I've still worn it a lot, and every time I wear it, I get a ton of compliments on this, which I think is well deserved. I'm gonna pause for a sec because the garbage truck is going by. Okay, so that is my stellar vest. Next thing I next thing I made is a pattern. It is the Copenhagen Cable Top by Made by Roche, and I did the sleeveless version. I did this with Cascade Alpaca Lace, and I've used this yarn, this specific colorway, for several projects now. Doing the cables on this was really nice. It was a very mindful knit, which was something that I really enjoyed having at the time. This is a completely made to measure pattern, so you can use whatever yarn you want, put in your body measurements, and it will give you all of the cast on numbers, row numbers, all of that, based on those measurements. When I did that, I put a bit too much length, I guess, or depth. I made the depth of the armhole too big in that, so it was really deep on this. I did tighten it up, which I don't think you can tell because it's kind of just blends in, but I did a single crochet around both armholes to try to tighten it up a bit, and that helped quite a bit, but it is still a bit deep, but nonetheless it's very cute. I've only gotten to wear it like twice, because by the time I finished this I finished it a while and then got really upset by the fit, put it in a drawer for a few months, pulled it back out, blocked it, and was like, oh, okay, I was being dramatic. So by the time it was blocked and ends woven in and everything, it was like mid-October, so it was getting too cold to wear it. But I could wear this as like a vest, like a slip over. I just am a bit more of a button-up vest kind of girly, but I do want to try to wear this more this winter. let's see. Next is another pair of socks. This is just another texture that I found on Pinterest. It is this faux cable texture. Once again, cuff down, German short row heel, doing that for all of my socks. This, I don't know what the yarn is. It was something that I bought from Hobby or Hobie, I've heard some people call it. Several years ago, started knitting something with it and took off the tag, and then ended up not finishing that. So I'm not sure what the yarn is, just that it is 100% wool. And I know people have issues with 100% wool socks because they won't last as long, but I don't want microplastics in my clothes. I want my things that I make to be fully biodegradable. So yeah, if I have to darn my socks, then so be it. Oh darn. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is these. I did accidentally throw this one, I think, in the washing machine. I didn't realize it was in my dirty laundry when I was doing laundry, so it did felt quite a bit. I did soak it in like a conditioner water bath, which helped a bit, and they still fit. They were a bit tight to begin with to get on, but yeah, they still work quite well, and they're comfy and warm. Let's see, this is another top I self-drafted, as I did with most of the things I made this year. This is Universal Yarn Flax, so it is 100% linen. This is the first time I've worked with a linen yarn, and I really enjoyed it. It's pretty stiff, and it's stiff, maybe a little bit toothy. I don't know if that would quite apply to a linen when you first use it, but I had to frog this so many times that by the time it was done, it is like super soft now. I've also worn it several times and washed it several times because of that, and so it is just super soft and comfortable. And then I did, these are also vintage buttons from a friend. Hopefully you can tell, but they're like a bottle green color. So I did originally start knitting this top down and it was not working, so around the 5th time frogging it, I decided to do bottom up, and I don't know why I just turned it upside down to show you this, but it is twisted rib at the like waist rib cage portion. I did another crochet scallop lacy border, and then a single crochets around the armhole again. And I added these ties, which is just a crochet chain, to the front so that I can bend over and not flash anyone, which is really nice because it is a very deep V. But this is very cute, and I'm very happy with how it turned out for how many times I had to frog it. That was also kind of a spontaneous cast on, so I'm very happy with how it turned out. Let's see. This is the last garment top that I made for the year. The rest are accessories. This I haven't actually worn out yet. I finished it the end of October, and by then it was getting a bit too cold to wear tank tops. But it is this Halloween cat top. It is a boat neck top. I knit this in panels in Tarja. I made up the charts for both of the cats, and then it's just seamed up the side, and I matched the yarn color to whatever the corresponding yarn was. This is also Cascade Noble Cotton. I did learn from my mistake with the Stellar Vest and knit it longer so that it wouldn't be so cropped, and it hits like a really perfect length, like right above my hips, which is exactly where I wanted it to hit. It is a little tight at the neckline, but I can get it over my head as long as I don't have my glasses on, so that's okay. I might add like a blanket stitch in black to the neckline and armholes, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel. I do really like how this turned out. It is done. All the ends are woven in. I just have not cut off any of them yet, so it is done. The next two things I made are for my cat. For Halloween, we were both little clowns, so I made her a little matching clown ruff to match the one I made for myself in 2024. The purple is the same as that contrast toe on the first pair of socks I made. So Kelborn Woolens Scout. And then the green is the Drops Kid Silk, the same as the Tied and True cardigan. And it just slips over her head, it's loose, and fits on her well. She doesn't like wearing clothes, but she was very good and wore this all of Halloween, and we got some cute pictures together. And then this is crocheted. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, this is crocheted. Just increases every round. And then I knit her a sweater. In 2024, I knit myself the Nocturnal Jumper by Saskia & Co. And I wear that all the time. I love it so much, and I always get so many compliments on it. And I wanted her to have a matching one, so that's what this color work is from. I did just like self-draft the cat sweater part, trying to get measurements of her without her running away. She does not like wearing clothes. She likes being a little naked baby, so she's only worn it a few times when it's been really cold, but it was originally too big for her, so I did throw it into the washing machine to felt it, and the colorwork bits felted pretty well. Down here, not so much, but it fits her better, which is the point of that, so yes. Oh, I am wearing my next pair of socks. They are these socks, just a plain vanilla pair of socks. They are a vintage 100% wool yarn that I found at a yarn shop where like the Weaving Guild in my town is. These socks cost a whopping $1, which I'm very happy about. I did a rolled stockinette hem cuff at the top before I started the ribbing, and I did actually buy 2 balls of yarn, and each one got a new ball of yarn, but I didn't finish either. I still have half of each of them left. So essentially it only took up 1 ball of yarn, but I wanted to make sure that the gradient was really present in both of them. So yep, socks. Next thing I made is a scarf. This is with Lanagato VIP, which is a cashmere merino. I always want to say merino yarn, so it's super soft and the fanciest yarn I've ever used. And it is my cat. So it's got these little cat ears that I did after and stitched those on, and the embroidery. And then it's got the feet. For the tail, I used some Barocco ultra chunky alpaca that I had in stash, did an I-cord, and then brushed it out just with the brush I use on Juniper. Yeah, so that it could be fluffy like her tail. And it is so warm, and I wear it every day, and it's so nice. And then the last thing is a gift knit. So Kat, if you're watching and you haven't received your package yet, skip ahead, or this is the last thing, so just turn the video off. But this is the last thing I made for the year. It is a beanie. This is Barocco alpaca in this, like, trying to make sure you can really get the color, yeah. This espresso chocolatey brown. She had told me the specific color she wanted, and I was not able to find it anywhere. I went to three stores looking for yarn. My local yarn store, the place where the Weaving Guild is, where they have like hand spun and some secondhand yarn that they get from estate sales and stuff, and then just the secondhand craft store that usually has yarn. Could not find anything in this color, and I was really hoping to get alpaca so it would be soft for her. And then I was like, you know what, there's another yarn store in the next town over that just opened. I'm just gonna try that, and if I don't find it there, then I'll order it online. And they had it. They had the exact yarn I was looking for, the espresso chocolatey brown in alpaca. So yeah, I did, this is the first beanie I've ever knit. I also self-drafted this. Here, I'll put it on so you can see. It is a bit shallow, so I might go back and do less rapid decreases before sending it to her. But it's like loose and oversized, will keep her ears warm. So yes, it was supposed to have color work on the brim of the penguin from one of this Paper Marios, I believe, but it was just gonna be the silhouette, and the silhouette just looked like a blob, like you couldn't tell what it was, so I did omit that, and I'm gonna do a little like cross stitch pin of that for her so she can put it on the hat if she wants, or a bag, whatever she wants. So that is that. And that is everything that I made this year. Everything that I finished. I did do several projects that were like mostly done that I didn't quite finish, but yeah, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely want to hear about what you made last year that you are really proud of, or what you're making this year, because I love watching these videos and getting so much inspiration. So yeah, let me know, and if I left out any information about anything and you want to ask what that is, just drop that in the comments and I will answer your questions, but hopefully I was pretty thorough. If you want to see more of what I'm doing more often, I do post about what I'm knitting pretty regularly on my Instagram, as well as a bunch of pictures of my cat if you want to see that, and my Instagram is in the description. So I hope you have a good day and a great year ahead of knitting and creating, and bye!